For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite-level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated. More often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand Podcast. Round 2 is in the books. The Cronulla Sharks top the table of the NRL after a 25-6 victory over the, I thought, pretty gutsy Canterbury Bulldogs, actually. Thanks for joining us on this episode of The Debrief, a ET Stand Podcast production. Please do hit the like and subscribe button. Get involved in the comments and in the show. We'll also be putting this one on Spotify later. We are fresh back from Shark Park just now, having just enjoyed some food at that burger joint that Franco took me to because we couldn't get into the KFC. Welcome, Lats. Welcome, Franco. Boys, what is your reaction to the show? Franco, I'll start with you. What do you think of the match?
Oh, great to be back at Shark Park. Footy season's back, baby. I know it's round 2, but it doesn't feel like footy season has started until you're at Shark Park, PointsBet Stadium. Love it. So good. Yeah, it was just good. And a win too. Love it. Very happy. Very happy. I thought the game was good. Very scrappy first half. A lot of feeling, a lot of emotion. I think that it'd be interesting to see or hear the commentary on that one, because on the field it looked as though there was something blowing up every moment, whether or not it was a push or a shove or a head rub or a comment. Someone seemed to fire up. The 2-9 certainly got in to everything. Nico seemed into the niggle. Obviously, well, I can't say for certain, but I'm pretty sure the ref pulled the captains aside and said, "Settle down, guys. We want you to." That did happen, yeah. It's if you don't keep them calm, I'll keep you calm, or something usual like that. So, but came out in the second half and actually played some footy and got the chocolates. So very good.
They did, Lats. What did you think?
Yeah, mate. Good, hard-fought win. I thought the boys were very patient. I thought Nico's game management was very good. Just some nice settling kicks when he needed to, give us a bit of a breather. Bit of an arm wrestle in that first half. But they stuck in solid, and I don't think there was a poor performance across the park. I thought everyone put in and, pulled their socks up and had a crack. It was very good to see. Nice to be down at Shark Park, as Franco alluded to. True Lats fashion. I was 10 minutes late and missed kickoff, but that's just standard. You know that, Boldo?
Yeah, destiny. So Lats misses the kickoff, and then poor Boldo has to go get him in at the front gate. So then I turn up and I'm like, oh, goodness, Britton Nakura's in the sin bin. So I have to try and work out why that actually happened. For anyone watching along, if you would like to join us, I'm just going to put the StreamYard link into the chat here. There it is. If you want to get involved in the show and join us, feel free to click on that link. You will go into the green room. No pressure or anything. We know how tough this can be. But yes, Lats was late as normal. And then, yeah, Stephen and I, Franco and I, we did go afterwards and had a nice little feed. At Burger Point with Steve Waugh. I thought Burger Point was pretty good.
I'll go back.
Right, eh?
I'll go back.
I thought it was pretty good. Our goal is to go to every single one of the restaurants in that new facility. So
I can vouch for the sushi train.
Well,
very good.
We didn't get to the KFC. All right, well, let's just chat on Nicho Hynes. There's a lot of conjecture during the week about whether Nicho Hynes should have gotten all of the Daily M points from last week's match. I actually think he had a better match this week than last week. So I think it would be more.
Well, I just saw one of the fans' comments said he definitely deserved them this week in our post from last week, and said definitely earned the points this week. His game management was great tonight.
Well, also he had the first pass for the Teague Wilton break that led to the Braden Trindle try. And then he also had the decision to go left for the Ronaldo kind of dropped onto the feet try. So you could see that play was brewing on the left, and then he kind of went it again and then ran it on the fifth tackle. So I thought his decision-making was quite good.
His defense was excellent. It was pretty obvious that the Bulldogs were targeting him, or at least that edge. There was a lot of traffic run that way. Britton Nickera, who was off for 10 minutes, still nearly topped the tackle count. Just goes to show how much was being directed that way. Nico was up there as well with something like 27 tackles. So a couple of great ankle grabs as well, bootlace tackles, stopping Kiko on the trial line. Did a tremendous job there in defence. I think he really stood up and led the way with his body on the line.
I still think it's can you win the man of the match because your goal kicking's excellent? Because the goal line,
I mean, it's easier if your goal kicking's bad.
Right, it was particularly good, I thought.
Yep. Well, a few years back we lose those games based on our goal kicking, so it makes a huge difference, doesn't it?
Well, there's a big difference between 10-6 and 12-6, isn't there? Just in terms of the psyche of the kind of guys that are playing around. All right. Well, look, we're kind of declaring that Nico was the out-and-out man of the match. Do we know the?
I don't know. I think it was one of those games where, I mean, yes, he probably gets man of the match, but I think it was one of those games where everyone put in, everyone had a really good all-round performance. There wasn't really a poor player out there. I think everyone, if you look at meters, statistically speaking, you look at meters gained, everyone sort of got a lot of yardage. Defensively, there was a lot of tackles made with few misses. As far as errors and penalties, it was just a really good hit out by the lads, really good team performance. But yeah, I'm probably leaning towards Nico getting that.
All right, Nico Hines. All right, well, who else did improve? I thought Teague Wilton was absolutely terrific, and when you go back and watch the first try was obviously all him. I thought his defense was solid. Lads, what did you make of Teague?
I thought Teague was brilliant, mate. Even that try that he scored, he got knocked over and was part of the setup to that, and got up, backed up, and took that inside ball from was it Ronaldo? I think, mate. He's
the kind of offload on that side, wasn't it?
Yeah,
so,
offload. Yeah,
and but not to mention the Benji Marshall flick. How good was that from the big man? They've got some really good, nice little ball playing forwards there. The Sharks. They're doing, we saw Tommy in the trials doing something very similar, and and as Franco said, none of them looked out of place tonight. They were in for the grind. All of them, they were putting in for each other. I think having these games like Finucane's 250th and these important games. I think it was Cam McInnes's 50th as a Shark tonight. Was it? I believe.
How tough is Cam McInnes?
Oh,
I gotta admit, I am the captain of giving Cam McInnes a hard time, but I got a hats off to him. That guy, he is bulletproof. Well, actually, he's not bulletproof because he's
a warrior.
His head is a pinata. His head is a pinata, mate. It gets belted.
He came off the field and he's like not even bothering to put the damn towel on his head because I ain't got time to bleed.
He wasn't looking for the medical staff or anything. He wanted to go back on.
Kind of sitting there, just going, "Oh yeah, all right, cool." And he cops the head clashes. I think also because he didn't want to seem too injured. Because if he seems too injured, then they're going to take him off.
HIA, yeah.
But his toughness, he must be. Just trying to think who's a tougher Sharks player than him more recently. Probably Gallen is the one that comes to mind as maybe one of the more tougher Sharks players. But yeah,
Gavin
goodness,
Miller.
he certainly. Gavin Miller was tough. Maybe we should do that we'll do that as a future.
Cliff Watson was about as tough
Anyone
as
who's watching along, get it along in the comments. Anyone else you think is who Sharks wise, history wise, player wise is tougher than Cam McInnes? Because I think you go a long way to find a player that can kind of be tougher than him. How do we think he's going as captain, Franco?
He's going well. Yeah, he's going well. We got a good captain's challenge today. So,
Yeah, talk to us about that.
Oh, it was a contested kick that went against us, and just the manner of the way the kick was contested. Odds are
was it the Bulldogs one? Oh, I thought the Bulldogs.
That was the Bulldogs challenge, wasn't it?
Was that a Bulldogs challenge? Was it?
Yeah,
I think that was a Bulldogs challenge.
Yeah, the Bulldogs challenge.
Oh,
I thought watching it was a Sharks challenge as well, but actually no, the Bulldogs challenge and got it wrong.
Okay.
I thought Cam was good tonight. I thought he was asking a lot more questions of the referee and getting up in the ref's face a bit more, which you need to do as a captain. You need to put that pressure on the referee.
There was one where you saw Nico kind of like being like the kid, like kind of like wanting to get involved and be like,
let me in. Let me go.
To be fair,
it was when
Nico
Nico
gets plenty of time to to chat to the ref as well, and he gets some good comments in.
As
So
when Nikora got sin bin, he's like, oh, let me in, let me get involved. Oh, but
he'll learn
yeah,
as he goes on a lot more, Cam, too, to do that and get in there and get right into the referee, and he'll learn his craft. He'll be right.
oh, he's just always bloody.
don't forget he was
concussed or
captain of
injured
the
or beaten
Dragons,
up.
right? So it's not like he's coming into it fresh. He knows how to captain a side. But
Well,
obviously
I'm sure he
there's
captained a lot of successful Dragons teams in his time. So, possible I go wrong. Well, look, he's the captain. So they follow him. I think it kind of made sense. I thought he spoke quite well presenting the game ball to Funakan, as the saying goes, after the match. Where are we at with Finucane now, lads? Are we still in the camp that he's washed, or do we see enough, or are we wait and suck it and see?
Well, it's kind of interesting. I don't know if you had a chance to watch the press conference.
I didn't have a chance to see that.
Yeah, so apparently he's
had
had
because of you, Franco.
Yeah, well, and yet there I was. I watched it. He apparently had a niggling injury and hasn't been able to train for the last few weeks. So they've been managing his workload, and that's why he had minimum minutes last week. Ramped up his minutes this week, and apparently he was going strong. And Fitzgibbon was like, well, we probably could have left him on for the full second half, but bit of softly, and he was raring to go. He was hungry for more, and I think he did well tonight. So, one of those old sayings: you never count a champion out, and he's proven to be an elite level football player
In the middle of the field.
Yeah, I think he's good.
I think with Finucane, it's almost like you don't want to notice him, and he just goes about his work and gets it done, and kind of just plays as the middle forward. Like he's not going to win you the game, but he's going to help you not lose it.
I do sometimes have that hesitation about him and McInnes being on the field at the same time, both being fairly similar body types, both being fairly similar players, sort of middle of the field, Bulldog style, go get 'em type players. That said, they were on the field together today, and we didn't seem to take a step back while that was the case. So while it's working, no gripes from me. It's just something, people always talk about having different shaped bodies on the field, and having them there like that together sometimes gives me a bit of a pause. But
just not big enough.
Worked tonight. Well, they're just
let's dig in on that.
Similar.
So I thought we looked better when, cult hero of the ET stand, Tom Hazelwood, went on.
The AFL player.
We just look better when he's on, because we just they're scared of him. He's just bigger, he's tougher, he's fitter. And then, goodness, we got his sidekick. He's not going to be his sidekick for too long. How good was, what was it, Tapua?
Tapua.
That guy's like a beast.
Mate, he can make some meters.
He's in the team next week, Tapua, for mine. He's going up Boldo's tiers.
He was on the field for 11 minutes, 5 runs, but made every one count. He was punching holes. He was barreling over people, bending the line.
Yeah,
he was fantastic.
I think he got 6 or 7 tackles in that 11 minutes. He was getting involved.
He's now equal to Carl Fliger. 11 minutes for the Sharks.
Hopefully he gets a few more.
But is he the next Sonny Bill?
Well, I thought he looked particularly good. I'm excited to see what comes from him. So the conclusion I've drawn about the Sharks forwards is that the first choice forwards are not that much better than the second choice forwards.
So those fresher legs coming on really make an impact.
The fresh set of legs. You remember you used to watch the Cowboys and Tamalolo and James Tarmo would come off.
Yep.
And then you'd just get on top of the Cowboys for a little bit, and then you'd get ahead by 6 or 8 points. And then those two guys would come back on and they'd run you down. We are the opposite of that, because our guys are actually big enough, and it just arguably better.
We've got a very well-rounded pack. They're all very good at what they do. I don't know if it's because of it or not, but obviously last season we had almost a rotating pack by necessity through injury, where we didn't have the luxury of being able to pick and choose who plays, because someone would be injured, so it just meant next man up mentality. But it did give, Hazleton minutes that he might not have got because of a
Hazleton's
full
on
strength
fire.
pack. So, silver linings and all that. It meant they've all had a bit of experience. They all understand what's needed for NRL. And now Tapu is just next in line to sort of get a bit of a taste, bit of a touch, and we'll see sort of how they go moving forward. But I think they're all good, they're all strong, and they all contribute in some capacity.
We've still got Braden Hamlin-Uele to come back too. So
Yeah, exactly.
we've got plenty of
Uele
depth in
is the top
forwards.
forward. Uele is the top middle forward, like clearly for mine. And I actually think Rudolph's coming good. He looks pretty good.
Yep. He was making
So
some
I
good
think
runs.
I think is a clear 1 and a clear 2. And so then if you count the fact that McInnes is then the clear 3 in terms of the middle forwards, that's just starting 3. It kind of leaves you with, you've got Finucane and I says you've got to play Tom, and you've got. I'd argue that. Well,
I guess there's a bit of difference in are you a workhorse or are you impact? There's those sorts of discussions as well, right? Who's the right man for the right time in the game? Are you trying to swing momentum, or are you trying to just hold up the defensive line? What's your role? And it's difficult to say. I mean, yes, I would say
if you're ahead by
number 1 because I love Hamlin-Uele and I think he's a gun when he's firing. But there's certainly a horses for courses type scenario there, right? Like we saw Tapua come on and light it up, but if he was to start, would he have the same impact? Would he be able to have the same engine? Probably not, right? It's a different sort of scenario. So, Kafusi's probably not getting much praise at the moment with everyone else, skiddling players and doing some flashy stuff. But he was there in the hard fire of battle there at the beginning, and he was holding his own, but it just doesn't look as flashy, I guess.
I think that's right. Look, there's 5 minutes to go. If we're ahead by 6 points, you want Finucane to come on for his defense. But if we're down by 6 points, then you send Big Tom on for the last 5 minutes to try and create something for you. Is back to the comment on the horses for courses. Well, look, we've got a bunch of viewers in here, so do get involved in the comments. And look, if there's this comment here, if you guys want to join us on the show and have your say and tell us what you think and tell us about why we're wrong, by all means, come on. Just click on that link, you enter the green room, and then we get you involved. I think we've got Williams or one of those guys joining us at some point. All right, well, look, I don't think we're going to solve the conundrum of the Sharks forward pack selection dilemmas, but yeah, I was pretty pleased with how the guys look. Let's talk about the wingers. So a couple of weeks ago, topped Boldo's tiers was Sione. And we thought, is Sione still do we still think Sione's the top winger, or is Ronaldo back? Lats.
I think that that fall from the top of the tiers for Ronaldo has lit a fire inside of him, mate, because he was unbelievable tonight. And
he's good, isn't he?
It was a beast. What he had, I've got his stats written down here. I think he had something like 7 tackle breaks. He ran for 206 meters.
Yeah, I was looking at it.
And he's just in it. He's just in everything. He's just in everything. And he's just that combination that he's grown with Sifa there. Like,
how good. Oh, we'll get to Talak. Don't worry. We're going to spend a bit of time talking about Talakai.
Oh,
don't worry about that. Left edge is back, baby. That's right, Blakey. There you are. Yeah, definitely black. That's true. So, I don't know. Franco, where are you sitting on the Sione Katoa versus Ronaldo? Who's our top winger?
And we've lost Franco's mic.
Oh,
he's on mute.
We lost Franco's mic. Yeah, great commentary.
He's back. He's back.
That's the best thing you said all night.
Yeah, very succinct. I've always thought that Ronaldo was the guy. I always thought he had just a little bit of extra something. But ever since 2 seasons ago, when Katoa got injured scoring that try off the scrum play and missed out the back end of the season, I've come to appreciate him a lot more, and I do think he is pretty important to the team. So I don't know if can I get the splinters and sit on the fence for this one. They are both great, and I'm glad they're in our team. They are awesome.
I don't think we would trade if any winger in the NRL, either of those two guys.
No.
They're both easily top 10, top 5, pushing top 5 wingers.
They're
in the
fantastic. Yep.
Yeah, I'm just going to highlight a comment we've got come through here from Chris. Now, I'm just going to confirm. This is definitely not me, right? Just putting it out there. Now, for Chris Glass,
Yeah, but how much did you pay Chris Glasser to put this comment in?
I'm going to say, Chris, you are 100% right.
Oh,
You could solve the whole problem by taking McInnes out because he only offers something in attack when I start complaining about him, and then he does something really good. But I do kind of see your point, Chris. I kind of, it's certainly, look.
The heart and soul of the team.
Yeah, maybe. But Finucane's the heart and soul of the team, isn't he?
Well, they both are. That's why they're co-captains.
after the 29-minute mark, he was anyway.
No, that's true. No, look at this. We've got Mr. Yeah, we are top of the league. That's right. So right now.
He must be on Smoko.
We are.
Yeah, right. All right. Chris is an angry dogs guy. Oh, well, thanks for coming in and watching with us, Chris. That's quite good.
Top of the league for what? One day?
Well, all right. Well, let's talk about Sifa Talakai. Look, we ran that video where we said, is Talakai a centre? And clearly he is. And anyone who was talking up, oh, let's get Kale Lero into the team. Yeah, you haven't really been watching Talakai over the last few years. Talakai's hands are so good. And he is so good at catching. And he is just that X Factor center. And he just sets up so many tries. Like, how good was that like little kick thing? And like the other plays. It's like Talakai. I think he's the first name on the team sheet other than Hines, isn't he?
Yeah, mate. From what he brings from getting us out of trouble at our off our goal line is incredible.
He didn't do that as much tonight, though, did he?
But he did. He got a few runs in.
Need it, though.
I don't think we did, but mate. So that left edge, 7 tackle breaks each from Sifa and Ronaldo. Well, that's incredible. That's huge numbers, and he's just getting more and more consistent. In these last 2 games, he's grown more as a centre for mine. And I just, you're right. He's one of the first ones on the team sheet.
We'll ask. Look, does anyone think can Talakai make it back into the Origin at centre? Is that plausible?
I think he's an 80-minute player, and so whenever we talk about, changing his role so that we can get a different center in there and maybe balance the team a bit more. So, well, where do you put him? Everyone talks about putting him on the bench because, the back row is stacked with Wilton and Nikora. They're not going anywhere. So they're 80-minute players.
Back row this week.
So have a solid guy like him,
maybe
a nuggety guy that puts the work in that he does, that can play 80 minutes is huge. You can't leave him off.
And so I think if you were going to, and I haven't heard this mentioned much, if at all, and call me cuckoo for bringing it up, but if I was to move him with his silky hands, his little deft kicks, he's a lock for me. If he's not in the centers, he's in lock. He's an 80-minute lock that has silky hands.
He's a center.
Yeah, so I said he is a center. He's absolutely going to be my pick.
And one further in, it's no good. He's a center. That's what he is.
We can't take him out of the back line.
He's not a benchy, is what I'm saying, right? So if he's not a benchy and he's not a center, where are you playing him? You're not playing in the back row with Wilton and Nikora there. So I would have him at lock, and we know we can't do that because our co-captains.
We've already got 2 locks.
Exactly. So he's a center. Close the case.
100%. I
think that's right.
I think if you pull him out at center, the back line just loses that little bit more slickness, which it has lost in attack with Moylan gone. I've noticed it's been a little bit clunky.
Oh, it's definitely God. The attack is definitely not as slick without Moylan. They just seemed a bit more broken up, don't they? Like they
a little more silky, weren't they?
Like that last try they got with the Teague Wilton score, where they were kind of flicking it, that slick move out the back line. That is just really gone for mine. Now that we've got Trindle in there, and look, I'm not going to steal your material, Franco, but I am. But the impact of there's no John Morris in that team now with it being Trindle and Hines. Whereas when you had Moylan with Kennedy, you still kind of had those kind of quick, fast, out the back moves. And so what I'm worried about is that we seem to have enough. And I made the comment at the time that, our kind of finesse and just the talent of our top guys will get us over the line at the end, which is what happened with Talakai and Nico doing a couple of things. But against the top teams, we just don't have that same opportunity. And their centers aren't as bad in defense. And so they can handle Talakai and, they can handle Ronaldo, and they're a bit quicker rushing up on Nico Hines. And so I feel like we're strong and we're going to grit out some wins, but we're still going to struggle to beat Manly, and we're still going to, I think, at the top, going to be the top team, and we're going to struggle to beat the Panthers, is what I think.
It's all very well getting our defense in check and building on our defense, but we don't want to lose that attack. We need those points as well as the defense, and I think if you do pull Siffer out of that, I think you lose that connection with Ronaldo, and I just think it's
not changing.
It'll be gone, mate. Can't do it.
Just coming through in the comments here. There's a couple of comments here relating to, look, Blakey's come through with keep Sifa Talakai away from Origin. It does more harm than good for Sharks players. And then almost like they planned it, these two. Forget Origin, we want Sharks wins. Frank, how do you feel about the Sharks players going into the Origin?
I like it. I think
I like it too. We might be a little bit early calling out that the Sharks players are going to have 5 of them in the Origin. We're probably going to have none.
We might have McInnes. To be fair.
Yeah.
He seems to be a bit of a poster boy for Origin at the moment. The heart and soul of the Sharks will maybe also be the heart and soul of New South Wales. He does have a connection with the coach from back in their South days. Depending on who else stands up, I think he's certainly earmarked to be in the conversation. But yeah, I don't think we're going to have much representation there this year, which, is not necessarily a bad thing, as some of our commenters are pointing out there. Better that be available for us and maybe not get injured in Origin. But I do appreciate players playing for Origin. I think the experience that they get from that, the exposure they get for that, it's really good, not just for them, but also for the club, and attracting players or sponsors or whatnot. It's a good thing to have players playing in Origin. And from a selfish perspective, I enjoy watching Origin a lot more if there's Sharks players involved.
Oh, it's not even worth watching.
Yeah.
But what was that guy who had the rule that he supports the team that has the most Sharks players in it? He was really clever, wasn't he?
Some joker.
Some joker. All right. Well, look,
he may have only been right for one game where Matt Rogers scored all of Queensland's points.
That's possibly right. Well, look, we are back from the three of us. We actually sat in the ET stand tonight together, which was a lot of fun. So thanks to everyone who came down and said g'day to us. That was particularly good fun. A couple of things I actually noticed. Actually, I thought this was really interesting. I noticed what's the name of the trainer, the lead trainer for the Sharks? What's his name? You all know the guy, the guy that hits the damn thing when they win, when they sing the song. Anyway, that guy. What's his name?
Not Elkin, is it?
I don't know.
I was going to say that, but
I can't remember.
I'm feeling like
Hang
I'm
on,
on
just let me
now.
Google Esky banging Sharks guy.
Or anyone in the comments know who the Esky banging? We should really know who the Esky banging Sharks trainer guy is. Anyway, so when Cam McInnes got injured, Noakes, that's who it is. Nathan, of
yes.
course, right? That's who it is. Noakesy. Yeah, Chris Kelly, come on. He's like, guys, come on.
Nathan Hunt.
There we go. That's it. That's the guy.
Would Williams have got that question on the hard quiz?
I don't know. So anyway, basically what happened is that McInnes banged his eye up and got the knock. And then you notice that Tony Chalmers and then Lara Pitt were all kind of motioning towards to Noakes to try and get him to tell him what the injury was. And he was really keen to tell them and let them know what the injury was. And he just let on. So he's I'm making signals to them and telling them exactly what it was. That actually really surprised me because it's actually giving away a piece of information to the other team because you're alerting the fact that, this is Cameron McInnes has got a problem with his eye or whatever it was. I thought that was actually quite surprising. I don't like.
He could have given him some bum information to throw him off. Who
Nah,
knows?
he was clearly clearly telling him what was going on.
It's Cam McInnes. He's got bark
He's
off
coming
his
out
face
regardless.
every game and
I just
blood.
thought I just didn't think that he should
No.
be. I just didn't think that he should be passing on that information. I thought that was.
They brought a
was-
camera around and put it straight in his face. That's not like
No, you could
private
see,
information.
like you saw. Noakes told them what the injury was. I
He ran over there, didn't he? He threw the
Yeah,
towel
I
at
didn't like
Cam and
it.
ran over there.
Yeah, I don't think I like it. Or maybe there's some deal where they've got to communicate with the chief trainer or something like that. Not sure, but I didn't like that. And then other than that, look, the count starts. So us as a group have never won the Cronulla Sharks membership prize. And so every year, every match, we're like waiting for that Aramex prize and for Dane Wheeler and those guys to come up and give us the damn box. And we again didn't win. So that was the other thing that was telling. But other than that, it was great to be down at Shark Park again. I thought the new facility in terms of the mall and the shops and all that sort of stuff was terrific to go in there. It's going to be great when the League Club is set up and in there. There are a few people in the actual mall and that sort of stuff. Kind of enjoying the band and all that sort of stuff. It's going to be terrific when the Leagues Club's there. Franco, what was your take on the actual Leagues Club and all of that setup?
Oh, I thought that they, without breaking the bank, tried to bring a bit more entertainment to an atmosphere to the event. You had the extra, I don't know what we'll call them, extra mermaids that were dancing.
Where were the extra mermaids? If anyone knows who the extra mermaids were, put that in the comments.
Down the front of the ET stand in the causeway there, they're dancing away. So that was, that was good, waving the flags and stuff. That created a lot more movement and something else for the Fox Sports cameraman or the grounds cameraman to sort of focus on and show a bit of fun and whatnot going on. They had the T-shirt cannon out there as well. That was cool. So yeah, no, I thought that, I know there's a bit of a knock on the Shark Park PointsBet Stadium and is it up to standards, but geez, I love that place and I think it's great to watch footy. I have a much better time there than I do any concrete monolith that fits more than our small amount of crowd. But I also have to acknowledge the fact that at in this particular time I wasn't there with small kids. I didn't have to go to the toilet. I don't have those noisy speakers right in front of my face, and I didn't have to go and line up for a beer. So all the negatives that people talk about, I didn't have to deal with that. But
we did get that German sausage though tonight too, didn't we?
Did get the bratwurst. That's awesome. I love that stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
How good was that?
Very good. That's top of the tiers for sure.
I think that was pretty good. What do we make of Will Kennedy tonight, boys?
Oh, amazing.
Good.
He was strong at the back, wasn't he?
He wasn't quite the man of the match. Chris Kelly has put the points.
Okay.
3 for Ronnie, 2 for Brayley, 1 for Nico. Who are these judges? Well, I don't know.
Are we waiting for the second judge there, Kelly? Is that what's going on? We're missing some points.
Oh, there 2 judges and they both award the points. Is that how that works?
There's 2 judges now. It was changed for last season. And so that's why Nico got the 6 points last week. So 2 judges gave him 3 each.
That's why he got the 6. Right.
That's why he got the 6. So
interesting.
So I don't know. We'll have to trust Kelly. Maybe one got their votes through early, or I don't know what's going on there.
And all 3 sets of points.
Yeah. No. I thought Kennedy was really good. He was light on his feet. He was safe at the back. Obviously, everyone
let one bomb.
Burton's.
He let one bomb.
He only let one bounce, which was a bit of a high blood pressure moment. But overall, everyone talks about Burton and his bombs, and he's how dangerous he is kicking the ball. Probably we're talking about Kennedy now, but probably rate all the back 3 there in terms of covering that. He did a great job, and as I said, that run that really sort of sliced through the middle. I think that was probably the start of us getting on top of the Bulldogs, reminding us that we should just be charging down the middle. And I think from that point on, we were a different team.
Yep. It was very
that was the one where
run, wasn't it?
That was the one where Nico then threw it to Ronaldo straight after that, and then Ronaldo got it to Katoa and he got stripped.
Correct.
And they were trying to move really fast. He was a bit unlucky, Katoa, to get stripped there. But yeah, that was actually exactly the combination of players that we would want to get the ball in those situations. The Bulldogs were a little unlucky with some of the calls. The ref won. What was the first try? What was it? Was a kick out who scored that where the ref got in the way? A little bit unlucky with
ran
that.
into the ref. Yeah.
Trindle ran into the ref.
He was never going to stop.
Was that a tactic?
I mean, I only saw it live, so I don't know. But
yeah, it was a bit of gamesmanship.
I think there must have been some gamesmanship there because you're not stopping kick out one-on-one there.
You'll exploit the loopholes.
I think, it is what it is, though. It is the rule. Like, if you kick the ball and the ball deflects off the ref, you've got to replay.
That's true.
So, same sort of thing for a player that is obstructed, maybe. But yeah, the Bulldogs were, I don't want to say hard done by.
They were. That's all. It was very Sharks-esque.
Yeah, it was 6-6 halfway. They were doing really well, but you've also got to remember they were a prop short after 1 minute, getting knocked out and taken off the field, right? Yep. So that's unlucky. And if the shoe was on the other foot and we didn't win, we'd be going, oh, we were a man down the whole game, so fatigue and whatnot. You'd almost be cranky at the Sharks if they didn't, pick up the tempo towards the end of that game and start to run over them. Similar to the finals last year against the Roosters, right? They had a man down and we didn't punish them for it.
Yeah, our professional.
Well, the other thing on the Bulldogs, though, if the Bulldogs have Katoa as their winger, then that's a try. The Katoa doesn't step out when he was doing the breakdancing move for the third try, and 7 minutes before halftime. So, they were unlucky in that. And then they got called back on that forward pass that often frequently gets let through. They were a bit unlucky, but the kind of class of the Sharks just kind of came through.
Just ran over them in that last 20, didn't they? With that, the class.
They just ran over them in the last 20.
And it just showed our patience. We're just sticking to our game plan and we're just grinding it and just taking the opportunities when they present themselves. And that's kudos to Nico too. I think he guided them into that position, and I thought his game management was good.
Yeah, I agree with you there, lads. Trindle, on the other hand. Where are we sitting on him, Franco?
He was all right.
He was just all right.
Obviously, he a couple of errors. The 40-20 I thought was on. Just live it looked like it was just a miss, but on the big screen it looked like it was a bit more than just a miss. But yeah, I think the play was right. I think we know he's a good 40-20 kicker. I would have been more than happy for him to have tried that again later on in the match. No, he was good. He had
that couple of drops though.
Yeah, but I mean,
they're unforgivable for a halfback, though.
Yeah, touch the ball.
I found it interesting. I find it interesting that he's not taking more of a like a kicking on the last roll, given he's got that bigger boot. What do you boys make of Nico taking pretty much?
I just think Nico's the senior player, and
just Nico was kicking to touch.
Nico's decision making is a little bit better, I think.
Yeah. I guess we didn't really need to come out of our half as hard as we did the week before. I would have liked to have seen that a bit more in week 1 from Trindle, but it wasn't really required this week, was it?
I think we've confirmed we definitely don't have any halves depth. Like, it's those two. That's it for mine.
I don't know how we confirmed that. There were no other halves playing for us.
The other guys are nowhere near those two.
Is that a problem?
Well, you can't win without
injured.
Yeah. You can't win with injuries. Like we've just seen it. When you go back and look at all of those capitulation things, the Sharks got injuries. You looked at that Bulldogs match, we beat them 2001, they were all injured. For the Sharks to win finals, every player needs to be fit. And if every player's fit, you don't need a backup halfback. So another thing that came up was interesting for mine was at halftime, just before the stroke of halftime, the Sharks retrieved the ball off a Bulldogs error with, I think, 25, 30 seconds to go, and they set up off the scrum. And for all money, I thought they were just going to kick a field goal to try and go ahead 7-6 at halftime. And it was kind of set up looking that way. And then they decided to attack. And then, of course, they get, 2.5 plays, 3 plays. And then you're like, all right, well, that went absolutely nowhere. Why? I don't understand why the Sharks just don't kick a field goal there. Franco?
It's an interesting one.
That for me.
Yeah, I can't. I was thinking the same thing. I thought here comes a field goal. They had an attacking structure ready to go. They ran it. It didn't work. And then I thought, okay, well, they tried it, but now they're set up to come back and kick a field goal. And no, they didn't. They sort of had another bit of a go at the line. And I was like, well, not as good a spot. Maybe they'll try it now. And then they just sort of died with the ball. And it was weird for me because obviously we know at the end of the game, Nico kicked a field goal. And I was able to watch his brief interview with Lara Pitt, where he talked about, getting some practice in and having a go at making sure that he's good for that in the clutch moments in tight games. So if he was of the presence of mind to do it at the end of the game, why wasn't he sort of thinking to do it at the end of the first half when
we had no time
that
left?
1 point counted for more when it was 6-6 at halftime?
Well, even a field goal at the end, they weren't set up for that. That just happened to go to him and he had nothing else to do.
Well, he was calling for it and Brayley wasn't ready for it, is my understanding of what was happening there. So, they kicked it, so I can't complain. But yeah, I would have thought they would have.
Bastard out there had 24-6 as pick the score, didn't they, lads?
Yeah, mate. It's
Imagine you're sitting on
the heartbreaker. He was on his way to the tab to cash it in.
You'd be absolutely spewing, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Oh,
mate.
goodness. Yeah, well, and the other one that came up, and look, I'm not going to ask you this question, Franco, because your opinion is wrong, is the Sharks, again, did not take the 2-point penalty goals. Now, we know that the Sharks get tries 1 out of 6 every time they have a penalty, which is worth on average maybe like a point on average if you kick the goal every time. The 2 points is worth 2, which you kick 90% of the time. So it's worth like 1.8 expected utility. So, and also you get the ball back if you kick the penalty goal, and then you get to keep the pressure up on them. So I'm now looking
at the ball back.
No, you do get the ball back. So the other thing that happens is that when the other teams, right, when the Bulldogs are attacking us and they choose to go for the try and not kick the goal at 6-6, I'm pleased. I'm sitting there going, yep, good, because the Sharks' defense is really good. And that was a really close match. And if we'd have had the 2 points when we went up 12-6 and then it's 14-6 instead, it's game over then, rather than when the extra try goes in. Like the Bulldogs aren't running down 8 points.
A couple of missed opportunities there with that. We kicked that.
Don't you think that's like kick the damn goals? Like
we kicked that. It was in a perfect spot. We weren't missing it. As Franco, I think, is alluding to, may get it back. They did a couple of really random spiraling short kickoffs.
Burton's
got one of them
good.
back tonight and nearly got another one, but I think it might have been Carraz who dropped it. We go into that half up 9-6, and that's and then
just the psyche is different.
It's hugely different. It makes a huge difference. I think we come out of that.
But the averages don't lie, Franco.
I'd need to double check when those opportunities came, but I believe it was before we'd scored our try. So we kicked the goal. It's 2-6.
No, it was a different one. There's a 6-6 one. But you should even take it at 2-6.
Well,
like the Bulldogs only
there was
scored
a 6-6 one.
But the Bulldogs only scored 6 points, right? And so you get a penalty goal. That's 2. That's 1/3 of their entire tally. Like it's just so clear that you should take the 2 points. And the emotional fragility that we've seen from the Sharks over decades of watching them is that they should almost always take the 2. It's just so obvious, but
ifs and
And I'd say we'll
buts.
agree to disagree because
We won the game without taking the 2, so I'm happy we did what we did.
2 in the grand final.
We did take the 2 in the grand final, but not every time we got a penalty.
Oh, yeah, no, we kicked it every time we could get it. All right, well, we're never going to agree on this one. But it's the bane of my existence, them not taking the 2. Look, Chris, we have talked about the big guy, Tapua. He was an absolute legend. And Mr. Chris Kelly, we have likened him, that 11 minutes, we have likened that to the solid debut of the great Carl Filliger. So we're hoping that he can do a little bit better than the great Carl Filliger. All right, well, let's just go through it now. Let's just think who was actually, we've had a bit more time to digest it now. Who was your man of the match in the game? Lats, talk us through that decision. And then anyone in the comments, please do also make it clear who you think the man of the match was.
Mate, I thought Ronnie was very strong tonight. I thought apart from him jamming in and them getting that try on his corner in the first half, I thought he was brilliant. I couldn't go past him. I thought even Teague was unfortunate not to get some points. I thought he was brilliant. But yeah, I think they got it right with Ronnie. I think he just wants to get back up on top of your tiers, mate. You can tell.
All right, fair enough. All right, so we got Ronnie. Oh, the great Jake Matuzik is calling out Teague Wilton. He's a very good footballer in his day, Jake Matuzik, actually.
He still is.
Well, actually, that is true, actually. He's still always very difficult to play against. Goodness, Jakey, what an absolute hero. To Jakey, Teague Wilton. We'll have to get Jake on the show at some point. Franco, who do you think was man of the match for yours?
Well, I think that we sort of covered it a little bit at the top of the show. I do think Nico was in everything. I do think he had a solid all-round performance. And the fact that I think everyone in the team had a solid all-round performance is when that bias of halfbacks bubbling to the top sort of kicks in, and I think it's deserved. I think Nico was in everything. He was trying really hard. He had a bang up game. Nailed those conversions. Did what he needed to do to get us the win. So yeah, he's probably my man of the match. There were a couple of other really deserving players that I would like to consider, but I think we're all on the same page there with Ronnie, Talakai again, and Wilton. I think that whole edge was just dynamite tonight. Kennedy showed his slick hands. They all the back five ran over 100 meters. Ronnie got over 200 meters, so just killing it. Look at that. Scott Ray, Kennedy was safe at the back. Even Brayley, he darted out for some good runs, kept us on the front foot. I thought he had a really strong game. People have been asking for Brayley to have some more runs, and I thought he stepped up to the plate tonight and sort of showed a bit more of what he's capable of. So let's not forget him, and I think he topped the tackle count as well. So, another, as we said, all good round effort from him. So it's a hard pick, but yeah, I'm probably giving it to Nico.
We have been joined by Sharks fandom royalty with Mr. Kieran Hayden coming along and commenting there. G'day, Kay, mate. It is good to see you coming on. We were definitely getting you on the show at some point. They're one of the great architects of the original CWSC and all-time legend Sharks fan. And Mr. I bought 1,200 tickets to the Sharks grand final. Kay, Jesse Ramian, you think was huge? I thought he did have quite a good game, actually.
He was solid.
I thought he had a really, really good game, actually. So he had that offload, didn't he? Was it his offload? Yes.
His try assist, yeah. It was a late try assist.
His runs were quite good, and then he also kind of almost barged over. So I thought Jesse Ramian, Ramian Noodles had quite a good game too. So
not to mention he was defending Crichton as well, right? One of the best centers, was considered best centers, was barely sighted. So you'd have to give some credit to Ramian for that.
Speaking of barely sighted, what did you boys think about Connor?
Wasn't in it.
We don't miss him, do we? I don't think we miss him, mate. I think
Well, I just think you play in a not so good team, you don't get as many opportunities. And so when he played for us, he got to do some cool stuff. And, we're a team that's set up for wingers, and he was the third choice winger for us. Didn't get a run.
It did sting seeing him run around in a Bulldogs jersey. I'm not going to lie. There was one moment there where he had a bit of a half break, and I was like, oh.
I wasn't worried when he got the ball though.
No. I mean, it's just
like I remember playing against Adam Dykes and thinking, oh, this is a nightmare. When Adam Dykes was playing against, and also when Peachy was playing against us too. Both of those guys, it was a nightmare.
Apparently, the Peach was there tonight.
He was.
Yeah. How good?
How good's the Peach? Well, one of the other questions we are going to pose, speaking of the Peach, on Tuesday night's episode of the ET Stand, we are going to discuss who should be the new number one ticket holder for the Cronulla Sharks. And I can confirm that I have taken myself out of the running as a media personality. We'll certainly go through that. Before we wrap it up, boys, what do we think of any of the coaching decisions from Fitzgibbon tonight in terms of strategy-wise and running the subs? Do you think he had a good game from that perspective? Didn't matter, or you think he got the subs right?
I mean, it's off you go, lads.
Sorry, mate. Apart from not taking the 2, I thought he was pretty solid. I thought it was interesting that Tapura only got 11 minutes. I would have liked to see him maybe another 10 or so minutes, but mate, overall we got the W and ran away with it in the end, and it's good to get the first 2 wins. Yeah,
I'd say he did well. It's always hard to criticize a winning coach. Obviously did something right to get the win on Tapua. I guess debut game. They probably know what minutes is good at, and not to mention, he came on, sort of turned the tide a little bit, made an impact, and then brought him off again, did what he needed to do. So that was probably part of the original plan, I'd like to think. I guess before we talk about wrapping up, it might be worth talking about the hot water that Nickera might be in. That shoulder charge definitely looked like a shoulder charge. Putting my black, white, and blue glasses on, would like to think that he was trying to make a wrapping motion, but with Ramian coming in to tackle on the side there, sort of obstructed his arm from wrapping and made it more of an obvious shoulder charge. But definitely a shoulder charge, definitely something to be looking at, and he could be in a bit of hot water.
Was there contact with the head?
Yes.
Not that I could see, mate, but
it looked like it was shoulder up over shoulder
on the big screen. So,
mate, I was just looking through the socials, and people are pretty bleak about it. There was a post about someone. Yeah, someone was saying they think he's got 6 weeks.
Oh goodness!
The general
I guess
consensus,
we might be seeing Talakai in the back row.
Tapua will just slot in, mate. We're right. No,
Billy Burns.
Billy Burns. There you go.
What else is coming through in the socials, lads? Are you having a word?
Mate, well, just in regards to that, the general consensus is around 3 to 4 weeks in agreement across the
That's a shame.
The socials, with maybe a 2 or 3 weeks with an early plea. A lot of raps for our defence, mate. We've conceded 3 tries in our first 2 games, and that were gritty games. Like, they weren't pushovers. The score might suggest so, but they weren't pushovers. The Dogs, they gave it to us for about 60 minutes of that game, and last week, and we've conceded 3 tries. It's awesome. It's nice to get these wins early, and just to have that up your sleeve that we haven't lost them by 2 or 3 tries per game, and we're going into these games that we normally lose with the wins. It's nice. There's a lot of positivity, especially around our defence. I'd like to see a bit more in attack, but as we alluded to earlier, our backline has lost a little bit of slickness. So, but that could just be clunky match fitness sort of stuff. We'll see. See what happens.
Rust, yeah,
I think that's right. All right. Well, look, it did end 25-6. Cronulla Sharks victorious over the Canterbury Bulldogs. We will sing the song now. Thank you, everyone. Stand. We did go down to Shark Park tonight, and a lot of people did come out and talk to us and say, hey, really like what you're doing in terms of your YouTube channel and being on Spotify and all that fun stuff. And we do want this show and what we do to be everyone's show. So if anyone ever wants to get involved, we'll come on have a yarn with us. Everyone's welcome. It's a hell of a lot of fun doing this and just getting to talk Sharks with a whole bunch of buddies. So we will be back on Tuesday night at the normal time of 8:30 to preview the match against, the West Tigers at Larkdale Oval. Confirmed segments for that show will be who should be the new number 1 Sharks ticket holder. And no, Chris, we confirmed that Zach did not swear too much at the game. I did a little bit. Jake, good to see you, legend. And we will catch up with you next time. Legends, up, Cronulla.
For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated, more often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the E.T. Stand Podcast.